Hello everybody, my name is Senti. Today, the trailer and first look at Anymaker, the new game from Geometa, came out. Yes! This is a big day for Stormworks fans, depending on what kind of Stormworks fan you are, because Geometa has a new game coming. It's called Anymaker. I just said that. This is going to be a little bit of a recap video, coming very soon, or maybe alongside is a reaction video. I'll link that down below, so watch that if you haven't. But, reaction, that's not important. What is important is we finally got to hear the new game and see the new game from Geometa that they've been working on for a long time. I think we first heard in like 2021 that they're working on a new game engine, and then we heard in like 2023 that, oh wow, there's a new game coming, and now here we are in the big 2.6, and we actually have a final word on this game. It's called Anymaker, and it seems to be like a co-op zombie survival vehicle building game. It's like taking elements of like DayZ, Pacific Drive, Unturned, Stormworks, Scrap Mechanic, Factorio, and a lot more, and just combining them into what looks like what could be a pretty fun game overall. I am definitely excited. This does tickle my fancy, you might say. But yeah, this stream went on for about 2 hours and covered a good lot of stuff, actually. I took notes during the entire stream, and I just want to go over them while I have a little bit of B-roll from the stream playing. So, Anymaker, it's a zombie survival weird game. It might have a story. It's a post-apocalyptic. Its Steam description says the end of the world. So something happened and we need to find out why. The building system, because it is a vehicle builder, the build system is in-world, so it's more like Scrap Mechanic and Space Engineers rather than having an actual editor like Stormworks or Kerbal Space Program. And that does pose a couple of things. I did say I'm not a huge fan, and that still stands today. I am not the biggest fan of in-world buildings. I generally don't like them. I much prefer having a CAD-style editor. This one does look alright. It is voxel based, so it is still, you still do have like a grid. You still have grids like you do in Stormworks. The grid size is 8 centimeters, so each block can be like 8 centimeters away from each other. But what's interesting is how you build, right? It's not like Stormworks or Scrap Mechanic where you have block, wedge, pyramid, inverse pyramid. Instead, here you have a couple of different tools that he showed off. There was an edge tool that you could like, click and drag out to build like a beam, just a bar, and you could build those out into like the frame of a car or something. He also showcased like a panel tool. You select a ring of edges and then it fills it in. You get a nice panel, and it's all very customizable. Of course, you can change the colors, change the materials, all that. It's good stuff. And then the smaller blocks like a switch or a lever aren't full blocks, but they seem to more be attached onto the surface of another block, right? Kind of just tape it onto the surface. Of course, you also have like a remove tool to be able to remove panels and beams. You have a properties tool, so you can look at something and get the properties of it, a lot like Stormworks' detailed tooltips, except somehow better because it's all labeled and more explanatory of what's going on with iconography and whatnot. And you also get the debug tooltips and the debug visualizations that they showed off throughout the stream are really, really nice, actually. I like them a lot. So yeah, the whole logic system does seem to be lesser than Stormworks. It's not fully programmable vehicles like in Stormworks. You have more mechanical systems, like you can just hook up your gas pedal directly to the throttle on the engine, and it works, and then the engine seemingly connects with actual drive shafts to your wheels and differentials, and it's much more mechanical, I think, than Stormworks, which we'll see how players think. I seem to like it so far, but I haven't played the game. I've only seen videos of it. But yeah, you have to like connect batteries to your electrical components with physical wires that exist in the world, and that is pretty interesting. There is multiplayer, of course. I was thinking that they were going to do multiplayer because Deltars just seems to like it, and sure enough, they have done friends multiplayer where you can open your game up to friends directly from the pause menu while you're in game, at least if I understood right, which seems pretty cool. I don't know if it's quite like Minecraft, where even in single player you technically connect to a server, but that server is hosted on your computer. I don't know if it's like that here in Anymaker. It might be, it might not be. The gameplay is very interesting, we saw. Zombies always exist in survival mode, Deltar said, although I am going to guess that player feedback is going to eventually force them to add an option to disable zombie spawning, just because a lot of people are just going to want to drive around this frankly gorgeous world that they've made here. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but there's zombies, there's lots of wild animals. The trailer showed that there's also like a militia that will kind of shoot back at you. Weapons are a very big part of this. The overall gameplay loop that we've seen so far is kind of like drive to a building, loot it to be able to get better things, to build better so you can fight zombies and survive better. During the dev stream, there were a lot, and I mean a lot of zombies. Yeah, I think the gameplay loop is going to be probably the most controversial part of this game. I think a lot of people are going to be kind of upset that this isn't just a build anything you want game, but this is build with purpose, that you actually have to build something to be able to let you survive zombies. And I think a lot of people might not like that. It's very gun focused as well. I think we've learned Deltars is a little bit of a gun nerd, because he spawned like a weapons locker and it was a huge weapons locker. There's all sorts of different guns. You've got rifles, you've got pistols, you've got submachine guns. I think he hinted at there being vehicle-mounted cannons as well, which is pretty exciting. The world in this game is a lot bigger, a lot nicer looking. They seem to have done a lot better of job making the world. It seems the terrain is fixed, but things like trees, the biomes, vegetation placement, those are all pretty procedural, so it's like a semi-procedural world. Small, like, shacks and buildings appear to be mostly random. And on that note, with buildings, everything is kind of destructible in this game. If you throw a grenade into a building, you're going to blow up shelves, you're going to blow up the walls, and they're actually going to come apart. If you crash your car, there's a good chance that parts of your vehicle actually do just fall off. It is a big wish list item that a lot of people had for Stormworks, being able to have parts break off, and with the bullet physics engine, I think that was just kind of impossible, at least their modifications in how they implemented the bullet engine. They're using Jolt on this new game, and Deltars is saying that he's really pleased with it, so it seems... And, from the trailers, it looked pretty good. He said there's also a weather simulation in the world. It kind of glanced over it, but like a global weather, it's like you can see a thunderstorm off in the distance, and then if you go drive to it, then boom, you're in a thunderstorm. Stormworks doesn't quite have that. You can look on the map to see, like, oh, there's bad rain that way, but you won't be able to see, like, lightning strike from far away. In terms of vehicles that we can build cars, jeeps, trucks, that kind of thing seems to be what it's mainly intended for, being able to drive around the world. Helicopters seem to be probably a definite. They're working on jet engines, they're working on all the tooling for helicopters to work. He showed off the body of a helicopter, and look, if Deltars can make something that looks that good, then I think we're going to see some pretty incredible builds in Anymaker. Especially if we still have the ability to, like, edit the save files. I don't know if things are saved in, like, an XML format again. Maybe not. I kind of hope not, because XML is bloated. But that's not important. What is important is that we're going to get very nice looking builds. Even the developers are making things that look very good. Yeah, no boats, no planes, no rockets, no trains. Trains might make sense, maybe. Helicopters, probably. Boats might eventually come, but I think then you're starting to get more into a problem of, crap, we made Stormworks 2 by just adding everything back in, and I think Geometa wants to try and avoid that this time. Logic seems to be pretty much entirely based on microcontrollers this time around, where your microcontrollers don't seem to have any physical blocks in them. It's all programmed. They have gone for a custom programming language, not Lua, and this custom language also has block coding, a bit like Scratch, like I'm sure many people have seen. So you can click and drag blocks to make a program, or you can export it out of the game as a text file, and you can actually edit the script as text, and you can re-import it. So I think they probably saw what people were doing with like Visual Studio Code or Pony IDE and Stormworks, and they went, okay, people like that for writing Lua, let's go for that. Why they went for a custom language, I couldn't tell you. They say it was better, and maybe not. The engines, like the gas engines we saw, are modular, a bit like Stormworks. They're somewhat modular. Well, I guess I should say modular in a different way than Stormworks. The engine block is one piece, and you can stretch it to however many cylinders you want, like 5 voxels long, and you get like 5 cylinders or whatever. So yeah, the engine block is stretchable. You still have to have your drive belts. You get to build your own timing chain, and you even get to actually build the belt for it. You have to connect the belt for your timing chain. You need air, you need fuel, exhaust, oil coolant. You need to pump most of those around. You need reservoirs for them. You need to filter your oil and maintain all of that, which is pretty cool. You have adjustable gearboxes as well, where like the length, it depends, or the length of your gearbox changes how many gear steps you have. I think he implied manual transmissions would be in the game, but maybe not. And you can adjust the sound of the engines as well, which I think is pretty cool.
So here we can hear the sound effect. What other sound effects do I have on this? We can change it to this one. That's kind of like a more kind of throaty engine. And that one's even further. And you can see for different vehicle types. And we've only done 3 there, right? The engine sounds I think work a little nicer. They're a little more dynamic than the Stormworks sounds. You can kind of hear the throttle kind of drop out as it stops burning the fuel.
So yeah, I think that's really all that we saw currently. It was just a lot of Deltar's fumbling about in his own game. He's never been that good at playing his own games, frankly, which I find kind of funny. And yeah, that's about it. Again, check out the reaction linked down below. Be sure to wishlist Anymaker on Steam if it's your kind of game. If you like Pacific Drive, if you like Factoria, if you like Stormworks, if you like DayZ or Unturned, you'll probably like this. We'll see. It probably won't be too expensive in early access, so just wishlist it. Don't have to buy it. But I've been Senti Fumball, and I'll see you around. Comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching.